I got him. I got him.
Get on, guys.
Get on the ground.
Stop moving.
It didn't take long to track down the driver.
She made everyone smile and laugh. This monster animal has taken Samantha Josephson away from all of us. To stab someone over 30 times and brutally a defensive 21-year-old?
On March 2019 in Columbia, South Carolina, Samantha Josephson, a 21-year-old college student, vanished after getting into a car she mistakenly believed was her Uber ride. What should have been a simple trip home from a night out quickly turned into a nightmare. As authorities pieced together the clues, a chilling reality emerged, leading to a harrowing discovery about what truly happened that night. Let's get into the details of Samantha Josephson's tragic case and the events that unfolded in the search for justice.
There are no words to describe the immense pain his actions have caused our family and friends. He brutally kidnapped and murdered my daughter, my baby. He locked her in the car without any way to escape and tore her apart.
Samantha Josephson was born on October 20th, 1997, in Robbinsville, which was a small town in New Jersey. Her parents were Marcy and Seymour Josephson. Samantha's early life was marked by her intelligence, charm, and enthusiasm for learning. Her parents, both supportive and nurturing, provided her with the foundation to pursue her passions and dreams. While growing up, she was known for her vibrant personality, a love for animals, and an unwavering desire to succeed in whatever she set her mind to. Her close-knit family, including her younger brother named Seth, were the backbone of her support system, and they all shared a deep connection.
She was just a very bubbly, warm, kind person. She was excited about going to law school, and it's very sad that she's gone. We'll miss her a lot.
From an early age, Samantha exhibited a passion for politics and law, often finding herself engaged in debates and discussions about current events. It was no surprise when she chose to pursue a degree in political science at the University of South Carolina. She had always been drawn to the idea of making a difference in the world, and a career in law seemed like a natural progression. Samantha's academic excellence was matched by her social awareness and commitment to justice, qualities that set her apart from her peers. In addition to her academic focus, Samantha was known for her kindness and compassion. She made friends easily and was often described as someone who went out of her way to help others. Whether it was through volunteering or simply offering a listening ear, Samantha made a significant impact on those around her. She was also an animal lover, often spending time with her beloved dog named Nico and showing a soft spot for animals in need.
She was kind, funny, very, very funny. A best friend to everyone. Good sister to Sydney.
Always smiling.
Always smiling.
You smile when you say that?
I do.
Yeah. She wanted to make a difference. She was actually interested in international law.
During her time at the University of South Carolina, Samantha quickly became involved in campus life. She was an active member of various student organizations, including the Carolina Political Science Club, where she took on leadership roles and further honed her skills in public speaking and debate. She was also involved in volunteer work, often dedicating her free time to helping local charities and causes that aligned with her values. Samantha's love for the outdoors and exploration was another defining trait. She enjoyed hiking, traveling, and spending time with friends and family in nature, often using her social media to share her adventures and experiences. Her posts were filled with laughter, inspiration, and glimpses of the bright future she envisioned for herself. At the same time, she remained grounded, always taking the time to express her gratitude for the people in her life and the opportunities she had.
She helped me make a lot of the friendships that I still have today. Sammy showed me a whole new and adventurous side of myself, and I will forever be grateful for her and her friendship.
Her decision to attend the University of South Carolina was influenced not only by her academic goals, but also by her desire to experience life in a different environment. As an out-of-state student, she embraced the opportunity to build new relationships, explore a new city, and immerse herself in the culture of the South. She was living her dream an ambitious young woman with plans to attend law school after graduation, determined to make a meaningful difference in the world. Her college years were marked by a strong sense of independence and self-determination. Samantha was often seen as a role model among her peers, balancing her academic responsibilities with her social life and community involvement. She was excited for the future, anticipating the next chapter of her life, which would involve law school and, she hoped, a career in public service.
We just want you to know that she is a fabulous young woman, kind, a best friend to everyone, really determined, hard worker, and a fun young woman.
Although she was focused on her career and academic goals, Samantha never lost sight of the importance of family and friendship. She kept in close contact with her parents, who supported her unconditionally, and her close-knit circle of friends, who described her as a light in their lives. Samantha's warmth and ability to make others feel comfortable in her presence was what made her so special to those around her.
I call both of my children Sweet Pea. They're just, both of my kids are phenomenal. They're our best friend. And as the vigil said, all the kids that got up, they all said that she's my best friend, she's my best friend.
As a young woman on the verge of a bright future, Samantha's ambitions and dreams were within reach. She was months away from graduation, planning to attend Drexel University's Thomas R. Klein School of Law in Philadelphia. She envisioned herself becoming a successful lawyer, advocating for justice and making a lasting impact on her community.
They want to do something together with us, but we'll do something federally. And we just want to put this together and make sure that it passes and that it's a bipartisan issue.
That's so fitting in so many ways. I know Samantha wanted to go to law school.
Yeah.
And University of South Carolina is going to be giving her a degree.
Tragically, Samantha's life was cut short before she could achieve the goals she had worked so hard for. On the night of March 29th, 2019, Samantha had no idea that her life would come to a brutal end after a night out in Columbia, South Carolina. The evening started like many others for Samantha and her friends. They were out at the Bird Dog Lounge in Columbia's Five Points Entertainment District, enjoying the lively college scene. It was a typical night out, full of laughter, music, and the excitement that comes with being young and on the cusp of a new chapter in life. After a few hours of dancing and socializing, Samantha decided it was time to head home. Around 2 a.m., she made her way outside to wait for her Uber. She was alone now, separated from her friends, and trying to get back to her apartment after a fun night out. She had already ordered her ride using the Uber app, a service that millions of people across the world rely on for transportation. But in that moment, Samantha would make the deadly mistake that would change everything. As she stood on the curb, she spotted a black Chevrolet Impala pulling up to her. The car matched the description of her Uber ride, but what Samantha didn't know was that this wasn't her driver. It was Nathaniel David Rowland, a 24-year-old man who had sinister intentions that night. Samantha, trusting that this was her ride, entered the car. Rowland, however, had child safety locks activated on the vehicle, trapping Samantha inside. She had no way of knowing that she had just stepped into a nightmare. This was not the ride home she had ordered. She was now at the mercy of Rowland, who had already made the decision to kill her. Samantha's friends soon realized that something was wrong when they couldn't get in touch with her. She had been texting them, but the messages suddenly stopped. They filed a missing persons report the next afternoon when they still hadn't heard from her. Her phone went dead, and her roommates had no idea where she was. A sense of panic began to spread among those who knew her. What had happened to Samantha?
Samantha's boyfriend called me and said, I just want to let you know that Samantha didn't come home last night, and they called the police, and I just kind of froze and called Seymour.
We were still talking to the police as we were in the car to drive.
Meanwhile, Rowland was not acting as though anything had happened. After abducting Samantha, he took her to a remote wooded area in Clarendon County, about 65 miles from Columbia. As investigators later pieced together the timeline, it became clear that Samantha's fate was sealed shortly after she got into Roland's car. What occurred next in that vehicle and in the woods was nothing short of horrific. Roland, in his mind, had planned everything. He drove Samantha to the secluded location, and once there, he brutally attacked her. In what can only be described as a horrific act of violence, Roland repeatedly stabbed Samantha at least 120 times. The violence was so intense that it was difficult for medical examiners to collect a blood sample from her body. Samantha had lost so much blood during the attack that her physical state made it nearly impossible to gather enough biological material for proper examination. Her injuries were horrific. The medical examiner noted that she had suffered multiple stab wounds to her head, neck, face, torso, leg, and even her foot. These were the types of wounds that suggested a savage, frenzied attack. The sheer number of stab wounds indicated that Roland had been determined to kill her, going as far as to mutilate her body with vicious and relentless force.
It is in the middle of nowhere. 2 hunters had been in the area, were looking for turkey, and just came upon her body.
She was covered in her own blood on her face, her arms, her legs, her feet. There were numerous wounds all over her body.
The crime scene, which was in a wooded area near a dirt road, showed signs of a violent struggle. There was evidence that Samantha had tried to fight back against her attacker. Her blood was found all over the scene, and forensic experts later linked it to Roland's car. Investigators would also find additional evidence that would directly tie Roland to the crime. The investigation into Samantha's disappearance began in earnest after her friends reported her missing. It didn't take long for authorities to connect Roland to her abduction. Surveillance footage showed Samantha getting into Roland's car, a black Chevrolet Impala, mistakenly thinking it was her Uber. But the moment she entered that car, she was trapped.
I was on the phone tracking her through all this just to make sure she got home safely, and immediately knew that there was something that was wrong. Unfortunately, I was 2.5 hours away. I'd do anything to go back.
When investigators tried to arrest Roland, they found Samantha's blood inside Roland's car.
I got him. Get on, guys. Get on the ground. Stop moving.
It didn't take long to track down the driver.
The evidence was mounting. Investigators also recovered the murder weapon, a 2-bladed knife that was found to have both Samantha's blood and Roland's DNA on it. This knife, which had been used to inflict the brutal wounds, became a key piece of evidence. In addition to the blood found in the car, investigators found several key pieces of evidence at Roland's girlfriend's home. Among them were cleaning supplies that had Samantha's blood on them. This included a sock and a bandana that Roland had discarded, both of which also contained her DNA. It was clear that Roland had tried to clean up after himself, but the evidence was too overwhelming to ignore.
If you look on the black jacket, there are striations that look like nails being dragged down the jacket. And so that would be she scratched the jacket in trying to scratch him. They find a ton of the evidence, and all of this is in her trash.
The authorities also used cell phone tracking data to pinpoint Roland's location on the night of the crime. This data, combined with the physical evidence from the crime scene, made it clear that Roland was the perpetrator. As the trial began, the prosecution presented a damning case against Roland. They showed surveillance footage of Samantha getting into Roland's car, which was crucial in proving that she had mistakenly entered the wrong vehicle. They also presented forensic evidence, including the blood found inside Roland's car and the knife used in the stabbing.
And there was a female passenger in the front seat who should know the identity of the driver who ran away.
What's his name? Nate.
Nate, the first clue to the suspect's identity.
The prosecution's case was compelling. They painted a picture of a man who had planned the murder in advance, waiting for an unsuspecting woman to get into his car and then trapped her, knowing he had control. They argued Roland's actions were calculated and deliberate. One of the most poignant moments during the trial came when Samantha's mother, Samantha Josephson, took the stand. She gave a heart-wrenching statement during the sentencing phase, describing the pain she felt after losing her daughter in such a brutal manner. She spoke of Samantha's dreams, of her future plans that would never come to fruition. She said, "Her dreams were my dreams and her death was my death. I close my eyes and I feel what she endured at his hands." It was a statement that resonated deeply with everyone in the courtroom.
He erased my future with Sammy, but he cannot touch my memories. The excruciating pain he put her through is unimaginable. I pray that when Sammy closed her eyes, she thought of beautiful things.
However, Roland's defense was weak. His attorneys argued that there was no physical evidence directly linking him to the act of stabbing Samantha. They also claimed that there were no visible marks on Roland's body, suggesting that he had not fought with Samantha during the attack. But the overwhelming evidence, blood, DNA, and cell phone tracking made it impossible to deny his guilt. The defense also tried to claim that Roland's DNA wasn't found on the knife, but this argument was easily debunked by forensic experts who testified about the many different pieces of evidence that tied him to the crime.
You will be saying the same thing about Nathaniel Rowland. That it is not his fault, and he is not to blame for the death of Samantha Josephson. Now, by all accounts, it sounds like Samantha was a quite remarkable young lady with a bright future.
After 2 hours of deliberations, the jury returned with their verdict: guilty. Nathaniel Rowland was convicted of murder, kidnapping, and possession of a weapon during a violent crime. The trial had been grueling, but the evidence was clear, and the jury had found Rowland guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. Moments after the verdict, Judge Clifton Newman sentenced Rowland to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Newman, who had presided over many cases in his career, called this one the most severe murder he had ever seen. He characterized Rowland as heartless and said that the case was clear, stating that there was an avalanche of direct and circumstantial evidence pointing to Rowland's guilt.
Encounter people accused of murder, people convicted of murder. This is the first time, however.
In a rare moment during the sentencing, Rowland was allowed to speak. He maintained his innocence, saying, "I know I'm innocent, but I guess what I know and what I think really doesn't matter." His words fell on deaf ears, as the evidence against him was irrefutable. Judge Newman responded, "There's 1,000 trails that led to you, and all of them point to your guilt." With that, Rowland's fate was sealed.
I just wish the state would have done more in finding out who the actual person was, instead of being satisfied with.
The murder of Samantha Josephson ignited a wave of change across the nation. Her death raised awareness about the dangers of ride-share services and prompted lawmakers in South Carolina to pass a law requiring all ride-share vehicles to display an illuminated sign with the company's name. This law, which became known as Sammy's Law, was an attempt to make ride-sharing safer for everyone.
Learn to first inquire from the driver that they are the rider, that they were supposed to be picked up. Education and laws need to be put into place to protect people and the ride-share industry.
The ride-share industry also made significant changes. In the aftermath of Samantha's death, companies like Uber and Lyft implemented measures to improve safety, such as clearer displays of driver license plates and more rigorous checks for both drivers and passengers. Though Samantha's life was tragically cut short, her death spurred action and led to changes that will undoubtedly save lives in the future. Her family, friends, and all those who loved her continue to honor her memory and work toward a safer world for others. The story of Samantha Josephson is a reminder of the fragility of life, the dangers we sometimes face in our everyday routines, and the need for greater awareness and vigilance in all areas of our lives.